Three, two, one. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Warped Eye podcast. Today, we'll be talking about the history of psychology and mental health, as well as a fun Would You Rather.
Oh, we forgot to say who we are. I'm Macaron.
And I'm Coffee.
We're just the best people you'll ever hear talking to you in your ear for a long period of time.
Yeah, because we totally have the best voices ever. And
seriously, we do.
Would you rather segment? Okay,
Yes!
Macaron. Okay, Macaron. Would you rather only see one person for the rest of your life or not be able to have any friends for the rest of your life?
I'd rather only see one person for the rest of my life. I need people. I need to be able to choose the person, though.
Even if it's just one person.
Coffee! If I was given the choice, I wouldn't mind spending the rest of my life with you. You know, just you. Nobody else. The world's empty. Be a good life.
What am I supposed to say to this?
Surprise confession. We should just label this podcast Surprise Confession from Macaron.
Wait a minute. And then
Coffee.
What?
I have something to say to you.
All of these
years, Zoom mating sessions, all of these months of studying together. It's been a year. It's been the best year of my life. Ever since I've been friends with you. But there's been a secret pain in my heart knowing that we were just friends.
So you want to borrow money from me now? Is that what you're asking?
No! Coffee! I love you, Coffee. You are my life. You are everything to me, you know? You and I would not mind this happening to us, you know? Us, instead of, I could have the entire world and not be friends with anyone if I could just live with you.
Sir, is this legal? What am I got to collect.
I love you, Coffee.
Whoa!
I love you, Coffee. You can't. No, I'm on my knees, begging you to take me. I've been in such pain for the last year of my life, and now you do this to me. You can't reject me after all this time. You can't. You cannot.
Imagine if our parents see this episode.
Oh, my great aunt listens to every episode.
I'm just speechless. Again?
until you confess back to me, because I know you feel it in your heart. I know you do. I really do. Do you love me back?
Guys, what do I say? Because, to some extent, this is a prank. But
it's okay, I can read Shakespeare to you.
Wait, what?
Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediment. Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends at the remover to remove. Oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempest and is never shaken. It's the star to every wandering bark, whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not, time's fool, the rosy lips and cheeks, within his bending sickle's compass palm. Love alters, not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error, and upon me proved, I never right, nor no man ever loved. Now, Coffee, do you take me? Do you love me just as much as I love you?
Kiki, do you love me?
Are you riding? Say you'll never ever leave from happy. Oh my god, not that. Anyways, back to
Anyways,
the segment.
would you rather only see one person for the rest of your life or not be able to have any friends for the rest of your
I
life?
guess you all know my answer.
I'm not getting paid for this. I want to speak to the manager.
Lady, I am the manager.
Oh, I think
What a Karen.
I would say the same though, because like if you don't have any friends, that's like really
Aww.
sad. Because like even if you just have one person, and like especially if you like really get along with them, and like hopefully if they don't like betray you, then you could have a pretty nice life actually. But if you can only see this one person, how are you gonna get a job?
You work remotely.
Oh, so you can hear people, but you can't see them. I see what you mean.
I guess so.
So I can call up whoever I want.
Sure. I don't know. You made this question up.
I did? Oh, it's been a while. Well, I think not to. I think you could get out of it by taking the literal, like, wording, but, like, the point is, like, only interact with one person for the rest of your life.
That's fine. Then that means like the only way that's even humanly possible is for everyone else to die. And in that case, we have all the world to you. So
This is just turning into, like, I don't know, a soap opera.
coffee, I'd be willing to spend all my days with you. If no one else existed in this world but us. The happiness that would bring me.
We've been at this for the past 10 minutes.
I'm not stopping till you confess, Shui.
Okay.
I know. I know. We've had our ups and downs. Have we ever gotten into a fight?
No. Wow. Friendship goals. But like, if you if you watch people on YouTube, that's not interacting with them, right? So I can still like watch
No,
those.
technically that kind of is.
No. Should I
You're
just
like,
not have any friends and just keep on watching people dance on YouTube?
yeah.
No, this is hard. Why did I dig my own grave?
It's an easy question.
Really?
Me for the rest of your life.
I think it's too early to say that. I am searching up the state marriage laws.
Oh my god.
Age of consent to marry.
I'm not asking you to marry me. I'm just asking you to love me just as much as I love you.
Okay, I guess that's true then.
When did I say marry? Shakespeare's
Oh.
sonnet, maybe, but that's just Shakespeare.
What would you guys choose? Would you rather have like real interaction with somebody with only one person for the rest of your life, or just not have friends and just talk to whoever you want? Like, you're not friends, but you just are talk buddies. I don't know. Like, I feel like eventually it develops into a friendship, and then you have to be like, no, I can't have friends.
What?
You know, like if you're not able to have friends for the rest of your life, but like you can talk to like anybody, but like if you talk to people for a certain amount of time, you like start to become friends, right? But then you have to be like, stop, no, I can't have friends, and it just the new problem is not I don't have friends, it's I can't have friends. The first one is like, I don't have friends except for this one person. And the second one is, I can't have friends, but I can talk to people. A lot of people. Like, if you stay strangers and just like, no wait. But you can have multiple lovers, right? It says friends.
Oh God. Okay.
So you can have close relationships. You can just become like sworn siblings. You're not friends, you're siblings now. And now you can talk to everybody. Everybody's your family. They're not your friends, they're your family. I found the loophole. I'm so proud of myself.
I'm really proud of you.
Yeah.
Now.
Oh. That was a rather. It wasn't. The would you rather question already was kind of strange, and then the response was totally unexpected. But then Coffee found.
This was not scripted. I just kind of made this up on the spot.
And then Coffee found the loopholes, and then now we're done.
Wow, what an interesting segment. Now, very sad, very sad. I don't want this segment to end. I like this segment.
I don't think time warping devices have been invented yet.
Fine. Let's get started with our educational segment. Okay.
So mental health has probably been on a lot of people's like radar lately for a long time because like in like the past century there's been like a lot more reform and like awareness. Yeah, just removing stigma and stuff and allowing people with like mental health disorders to be able to live a normal life. So let's go back to ancient times and talk about how views on mental health and psychology have developed from there.
Okay. So for a long time, in several different cultures all around the ancient world, a lot of different cultures they believe that mental illnesses were more like religious punishments or being possessed by evil spirits or the devil, and treatment included like things like drilling a hole in your head to get evil spirits out. And while those things aren't practiced anymore, I don't think, some people still do think that it's like when like bad deeds that you've done have caused you mental illness and stuff like that. But like the religions that said those things are still exist today, but they don't really believe that anymore. To be fair, these same like religions often, like a lot of different religions at the time, they thought that like it was the gods that like made certain natural disasters come about and like that kind of thing. So I guess like it was kind of like parallel to that. Like they also thought the same thing about like humans and they're like why some humans suffer more than others because they've done like bad things or stuff. So
Basically, all human problems just blame the gods. Yeah.
yes,
So
perfect.
yeah.
You'll fit right in with society.
Right.
Right?
So
That's what we
basically,
strive for.
sure. So basically, the three main theories throughout history for where mental illnesses come from. We already said the first one, which is supernatural, like caused by divine interventions and stuff. And the second possible cause, I don't know. It's not like a possible cause, just a theory. Like these like theories rotate throughout history, like certain time periods will believe in different theories. So I was saying, the first one is supernatural. The second one is somatogenic, which is like mental illnesses are caused by disturbances in the physical body. like brain damage, which is something that I experience every day. Losing brain cells is a hourly experience. And then the third one is psychogenic, which is mental illnesses caused by stressful or traumatic experiences. So probably somatogenic and psychogenic make sense or like resonate with most people listening, because that's sort of what the modern era is like embracing. Um, it's like you could like have like a really traumatic experience and you get like PTSD or something, or you could like hit your head and like also damage your body, brain, then then like maybe like lose your memory. Actually, is that a mental illness? Or maybe like
I mean, I don't know. Because, like, even then, like, psychogenic is more like experiences that cause stuff, but I don't think anyone's really had, like, no one really for a long time predicted until, like, the modern era, the psychogenic or somatogenic theories, because everyone just really thought it was supernatural or, like, something to do with, like, people's power to heal others or something like that, you know? So I guess like we still don't really know much about the other theories in the ancient world and stuff like that.
yeah, in the ancient world. But then you have Greece in the around 400 BC. There was the Greek physician. How do you say his name? Hippocrates? Hippocrates?
Hippocrates?
Hippocrates?
They all like end with like ease. It's like es. It's ease. I think.
Hippocrates?
I think so.
Hippocrates? Okay, I should.
Hippocrates, a great philosopher.
So he sort of tried to separate superstition from medicine, which is like, what's the word? Diverging. Look at my vocabulary. Diverging from the
Whoa,
supernatural
whoa there.
belief. So he like spread the belief that physical and mental illnesses were caused by a deficiency or excess of one of the four humors. The four humors are sarcasm, dad jokes, people high on coffee, or sleep deprivation, and plain stupidity.
Perfect. Those are the four humors, everybody. Hippocrates was way ahead of his time.
He was a comedian.
He really was. Okay,
No, actually, the four humors are blood, yellow bile, black bile, and phlegm. Ugh, so boring. But anyways,
disgusting.
so like basically in this era, the way it works was that it wasn't shameful at all to have mental illnesses, which I think is so nice of them. And like you're held like completely unaccountable for your behavior. Like you do whatever, and it's just like, oh, because that person over there doesn't have enough yellow bile, and it's like not your fault. And I think that's like an interesting point for a lot of debate, like how much can you hold people with mental disorders or illnesses accountable for what they do? Because like to some extent, like if it's not severe, or like if it's like triggered, if they have like something that's triggered and like they're in a state where they're not triggered and then they do something, like technically it's still them making a choice. But anyways, that's an irrelevant tangent.
That would make a great episode, honestly. I have a lot to say
Part
about
two,
that.
part two.
As my true crime brain, it's like
Like
kicking
and
off.
comment, like and comment on YouTube if you want a part two to this episode.
Okay.
We go back to the supernatural in the 11th century.
Basically, like a lot of natural disasters, like diseases, plagues, famines, they were all happening during this wonderful time, which was like a period of like a lot of turmoil in a lot of senses because like the Roman Catholic Church and everything was being threatened, and that led to a lot of debate in Europe, especially, and people thought that all of these things are caused by the devil because it was a very Christian area. So people thought that these things were caused by the devil, and that natural illnesses would fall into the same category. And so if all these physical illnesses like these plagues and famines and stuff were falling into this category, then so would all the mental illnesses, right? So because that's just how it worked in back then. And then these beliefs, beliefs gave rise to persecution of women with mental illnesses as witches because the public thought that they were possessed. And there are still groups of people who think this today. Anyways, so the churches had large power in this time period. So like writers like Joanne Wire and Reginald Scott, they tried to convince people that women suspected to be witches were just like that because of physical deficiencies and stuff like that. But the church didn't like them very much. So they're like, no. And that's the story of those two sad people.
So the modern era starts around like 16th century, which is probably what you vividly remember from your history textbooks about all those asylums and stuff, especially if you studied like US history. But yeah, there were just like a lot of hospitals and asylums established to house and confine the mentally ill, poor, homeless, unemployed, and criminal people. So, like, people with mental illnesses were just sort of lumped in this category of undesirables. Oh, this time period was also influenced by religion as well. I feel like all the time periods were influenced by religion, except for like maybe Hippocrates, um, and like right now we are like sort of away from religion. But anyways, from the 16th century to the 19th century, like psychology, huh?
Like, I feel like at this point we have so many religions that like we can't really get influenced by any one of them at this point.
That's
It was
fair.
like I think at the time period it was like mainly certain. I think they were all in the ancient world, especially like they all kind of went to the same general direction. Like until like Judaism came around, they were all polytheistic. Like most of them were polytheistic, and then so they all had also most of them had like a similar, at least like that bad things were caused by something because it can't just be caused by nothing, right? So some religions believed in like the devil or bad spirits possessing them in general, or like Christianity, or some other cultures, like I don't know which ones. I think like the Egyptians also like believed in like evil spirits and stuff like that. Um, and then there was stuff like I don't know, like Buddhism, like that believed like karma caused these bad things, and even Hinduism too. So like stuff like I feel like we've always like justified mental illness with religion until nowadays. I feel like there's so many that like everyone justifies mental illness in their own way, like whether it's like at this point like brain, like if it's like biological or experiences that cause it, or your own mind and your own like demons or whatever the heck you want to believe. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, like, these days, if, like, you want to get it treated, then, like, obviously, like, medical, like, professionals are gonna look at it like, oh, what kind of, like, damage has happened to your brain? Like, what kind of experiences have you gone through? But, like, you personally, like, people can believe whatever they want to believe. But, like, these days, like, the medical view is like dominant. So,
Okay, back to the modern era. So at this time, like Coffee was talking about like the asylums and stuff. But like at this time, like psychology was regarded more because if we had the whole topic about religion and debates and stuff like that. But like in a Christian sense, psychology is regarded more as a study of the soul, and it was heavily influenced. The only way we got like out of that whole zone, like it's not really the study of the soul as more as like the study of the mind and the way it functions and stuff like that, is heavily influenced by the philosopher Rene Descartes. I hope I'm saying his name right, but I think that's how you say his name. So Rene Descartes and several of his publications, including stuff like what is it? What is this? Oh yeah, like meditations of first philosophy, passions of the soul, the world, etc. They all have the same general idea of like he's trying to figure out what the human mind is. Unlike like a lot of philosophers, they were more like having all these existential crises. I mean, do not get me wrong, I think Rene Descartes had one of the most existential crisis moments ever. Like he just like gave up all of his beliefs and like I'm starting from scratch, baby. Like yeah, that's basically what he did. He had a big existential crisis. But he definitely tried to figure out the matters of the mind more than others because he thought that was easier to figure out than the matters of the universe. So, yeah, he tried a lot to like I think he is the closest that we had at that point in time to like modern philosophy from my research. I think that's fair to say that he made the biggest influence and kind of moved people away from like the Christian sense of what psychology is to more a modern day sense that we have now.
I see. Actually, I don't. Most of that flew over my head, but
honestly, it happens a lot with the podcast. I'm like trying to think of what to say, and then I forget, like what you're saying kind of flies over my head. Like
the whole time I was just hearing Rene the cart, like Rene the shopping cart.
Oh my god, Rene Descartes, Rene Descartes, Rene Descartes. Like the baby should have Descartes. Oh my god, that would be such a good name for a YouTube channel. This is our idea. No one can steal this.
The asylums, right? The asylums. So basically, they were like established because the government started to become responsible for taking care of mentally ill people. Like before, we were saying the family members were taking care of these people, and the government was just like, oh, the general public needs to be protected. Oh, national security. We need to lock these mentally ill people away. And there were a lot of like wars and economic depression during this time, and that just strengthened the government's like motivation to keep these undesirables away. And like treatment was just straight up terrible. I don't even know what to say, but like they were like notorious for like abusing patients and like chaining them up and stuff, because if you are mentally ill during this time period, you are like more of an animal than a human, and like you can't logically think, and like you can't control yourself, and you are like a beast. So you need to scare these people so they can go back to being rational. And this is very different from ancient Greece, where they were like, you're just not accountable in that. And it was just sort of like a neutral standpoint. Like it's just like a fact, like just something that people deal with and then move on. But like in this era, it was like, because you can't be held accountable, we need to like do bad things to you. If that makes sense.
That makes sense.
To talk
Okay.
about the mesmer guy, did you know the word mesmerize is actually somebody's name, ized? Like
Yeah,
cauterized, but mesmerized.
in the 1700s, there was a lot
Mr.
of influence of mesmerism. You
Mr.
know,
John Mesmer.
no, 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 no. It was developed by Franz Mesmer. Franz. Franz?
France.
Franz?
Isn't that like a currency?
You should know. You took French.
Wait, a what?
Anyway, so Franz Mesmer, he was an Austrian physician, um, and he developed mesmerism, which had in the 1700s a lot of influence on psychology. And he claimed to use gravity and quote unquote animal magnetism to cure people of their mental and physical illnesses, which is interesting. I still don't quite understand what animal magnetism is, but yeah,
I'm gonna
that
search it
existed.
up.
But oh yeah, so
What
animal magnetism
is
is
animal?
apparently according to Google, a supposed emanation to which the action of hypnotism was ascribed. He believed that so Franz Mesmer believed that there was an invisible natural force possessed by all living things, including humans, animals, and food, like vegetables. Which okay, that's a perspective, but animal magnetism was like so he basically thought animal magnetism was like this invisible magnetic cosmic fluid, and he believed that all living beings had this running through them, which could be manipulated for healing purposes and other purposes. And he theorized that disease, mental and physical, they both thought that this was like, he thought that these were both like resulted of an imbalance in this magnetic fluid, which resulted in these obstacles and problems of like how the fluid is flowing around you and through you, and he developed some interesting methods to restore this fluid and its flow.
It sounds kind of similar to the four humors thing with the fluid, but
But like, I don't think he tried to use like proven science, like gravity and magnetic fields, to prove his point, which just makes me question him more, you know? So, anyways, yeah, so he claimed to use all of this, but then after his method became very fashionable, and like literally Wikipedia said, quote unquote, fashionable. I think, according to other sources, it's just another word for popular. So, yeah, other sources that I looked about, because this is really interesting. Franz Mesmer is an interesting man, but I won't talk too much about him. I've already talked too much about him. But he became really popular in like Vienna and Paris and stuff until like big names like who you guessed it, Louis, the XVI, the 16th. He and Benjamin Franklin, an American ambassador. I bet you didn't know who Benjamin Franklin was. But he and then Antoine Lavoisier. He was like a big chemist guy. Remember him from your chemistry class? You should. He's amazing. And then Joseph Ignace Guillotin. He was a
guillotine?
surgeon, a physician of all sorts.
Guillotine?
Guillotin! Guillotin! Coffee, you're so smart. Is guillotin French?
It's, I don't know. It's like guillotine, but not guillotine. It looks.
Guillotin.
I
Okay.
don't
Oh,
know.
when you yawn, it sounds better.
Guillotine.
Guillotin.
What
Okay.
the?
Anyways, um, so the practice, even when all of these big names kind of said, no, you can't practice it anymore, a lot of this was still carried on by like Mesmer's students and his students. And eventually it resurfaced among some actual surgeons and physicians, which surprises me. Yeah, basically like people like John Elliotson in the late 1700s and like not sorry, in the 1800s mainly, and the surgeons James Esdale and James Braid, they all like they all reconceptualized mesmerism more as like something that the subject's mind could alter rather than like a power of mesmerists, which is what mesmer considered, like, that people had the power to, like, mesmerize other people, I guess. And these surgeons and physicians, they labeled this as hypnotism, which I guess we're more familiar with than animal magnetism. Even after, like, it was relabeled as hypnotism, it had a very strong influence in the 19th century, and there was a lot of people whose name I cannot pronounce for the life of me, had a lot of influence on this. And this is why your parents would give you easy names. So when you go down in history for promoting mesmerism, some two teenagers on a podcast can actually pronounce your name. You see? So stupid, honestly, you know? Very stupid.
So
Okay.
basically, if you remember from a unit in your history class, in the late 18th century, people started to become more outspoken about the terrible treatment of patients in mental asylums. And there were like several different reasons for why people protested. Like, it was immoral to treat people like that. It went against religious beliefs. So I guess there's still like that religious part. And now we have the start of our current attitude, which is trying to treat people like human beings because they are human beings. And
human beings are amazing.
I feel like that's just like in general, like we've just been trying to have people be treated as humans across like all aspects, not just people with like mental illnesses. And so current theories on mental illnesses, like we said earlier, are basically a blend between somatogenic physical causes and psychogenic stress or trauma causes. Like, you can be physically disposed to have certain psychological conditions, but they might not surface unless you go through some stressor or trauma. So that wraps up our discussion on the history of mental health in psychology. I hope it was interesting to see how humans have shifted, rotated through all the big three theories about why we have mental illnesses and all the crazy things we've done to people with mental illnesses, and just history is just crazy in general. Yeah, and
Okay, so we're done. Like, subscribe, comment, share this podcast with your friends, follow us on Instagram, subscribe to Renee Descartes on YouTube, and buy some food while you're at it. And have a good life.
I have an
It's
apple.
fine.
I have a pen. Oh,
Apple
pen.
pen.
I have a pen.
I
I
have
have a
pineapple.
apple. Ugh.
Pineapple
Pineapple
pen.
pen.
Apple
Apple
pen.
pen.
Pineapple
pen.
pen.
Ugh. Pen, pineapple, apple pen.
pen. Oh my god.
Are you getting mesmerized?
I am getting mesmerized.
I have a duck. I have a magnet. Duck magnet. I have a rat. Rat magnet. Duck magnet. Rat
Oh my god.
magnet.
Magnet, duck rat magnet.
I'm gonna go to the supermarket and get that magnet duck rat magnet. There's not enough syllables.
Because we don't have pineapples. Babe, what's an animal
Elephant.
with a long
Elephant.
name? Okay, pen, pineapple, apple, pen has an alliteration.
Pen. Oh.
Pen, pineapple, apple, pen.
I have a maggot. I have a magnet.
Oh my god. What's an animal that starts with M as like a legit animal?
Maggots aren't legit animals.
Oh, we don't like maggots. Wait,
This
wait,
is
wait, wait, wait.
animalism.
There is such a thing as macaroni penguins.
Macaroni penguins.
Yeah.
Hello, McDonald's. I would like a Big Mac with a side of macaroni penguins.
Oh my god. They're actually really cute though. Oh, they're so
I
funny.
mean, like, fish
Hey,
are
you know why they're
cute.
called macaroni penguins? Because they have little things that look like noodles coming out of their head.
Macaron loading
Okay.
noises. Sarcasm.
You know, hypocrisy is probably such a hoot. You know?
The four humors.
Oh my god.
Sarcasm, dad jokes, midnight delirium, and people who try to be funny but aren't. Yeah, the world is still a scary place.
The world is still a scary place where some people, crazy people, think women are witches. For, I don't know, like, why? But I can see
No.
my head movements. It's so sad. Okay.
No.
No.
Feel the power.
Coffee? No. I refuse. I refuse this sad truth of life.
No. Hey Siri. Siri never
According-
answers me. Left and right, left and right, left and right. You're getting sleepy. Why are you like this?
Coffee? Do you really exist?
No, I'm actually a virtual voice. Like, you know, like virtual singers where they just have like a voice sample and then they like use like technology to make them sing. I'm like that, but a virtual podcaster. Like, subscribe, comment, share this podcast with your friends. Follow us on Instagram. Buy us some food while you're at it. ASMR. Tasty.